Welcome to Snohomish Real Estate Insider, your go-to real estate podcast for agents, buyers, sellers, and investors. We dive into market trends, expert insights, and actionable strategies to help you succeed. Whether you're growing your business or making informed decisions, we've got you covered. Let's get started. Here's your host, Kevin Wick.
All right, well, here we are today. I'm here with Bridget. So my name's Kevin Wick. I'm the designated broker of the Everett and Mill Creek office. And I would love for you to introduce yourself, Bridget, and say who you are and kind of where you came from and everything.
Yes, hi, my name is Bridget Black. I am a broker here at John L. Scott Mill Creek. I joined last June, so coming up on a year here soon. And
yes. Excellent. And you've been having a great time doing open houses with new construction and resale, correct?
Yes, I've worked at 2 different new construction sites, and then currently I'm doing some resale open houses too.
Excellent, excellent. I know that's been a great help here in the office, which is appreciated. You're definitely becoming a pro for sure. So, but we're here to talk about Generation Z. And so, let's just kind of delve right into it and just go, tell me what your thoughts are. Will Gen Z get into the market? Because I know they're kind of slow behind the gun a little bit.
Yeah, so Gen Z is pretty much everyone born, I think they usually say 96 and up further. So, yep, I'm part of Gen Z. And for Gen Z being homeowners, we are starting to see some become homeowners, but not as fast as I feel like other generations became homeowners. I looked up the statistic, and basically for decades, the average first-time homeowner was 31 years old for a long time. And then starting in like 2018 and further, it's gone up. And just this year, it's the highest it's been. It's 38 years old is the average first-time homeowner.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah. So it's gone up. So we are not behind. We're just, there's more people, there's less land available. So we still can be homeowners, but it might be a little later than we expected.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and the thing is, times are definitely changing. It's definitely more difficult for Gen Z to get into a home. I mean, and if you take a look at what's happening in the marketplaces, the appreciation and everything like that, it's definitely making it more difficult. Do you think Gen Zs are, do you think they're resistant to get into the market, or is it are they looking to be more renters, or are they looking to, maybe get into the market? What's your opinion?
I feel like it's a few factors. Like, one, obviously finances. There's student loans, and wages aren't necessarily matching home prices nowadays. Right. So it's maybe you need more time to build your savings so that you're able to put that down payment on. So we just need more time to build our savings up. But also there are a few other ways you can get into a home that aren't what you maybe originally pictured. I know, like, for me, I always thought I would get into a home that would be my forever home, my first home. But now it's kind of looking like maybe you need to start out in a condo or a smaller townhome, or do something like renting out rooms and that sort of thing, and then use that as your starter home and build from there to maybe what your dream home is. Yeah. So I think the reality is we're not starting out in dream homes like some of our parents did. Their first home is the home they still have now. But
well, believe it or not, I'm actually part of your parents' generation. And, honestly, during that time when I first got into real estate, a lot of people were buying the condos or the first-time starter homes that are out there. And so that's not unusual to buy multiple homes, because if you look more statistically, people only stay in their homes. Actually, it's 11 or 12 years now is what's happening.
That always surprises me, because you don't think it's that short, but
it used to be 5 to 7 years. And so so from that standpoint, people are staying in their homes longer. But from when you're looking at it, then if you can convince your generation that, hey, let's just get into a home to get you started, and you start building that equity to gain some momentum to be able to buy that forever home that you're looking for.
Even like a fixer-upper.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work, but it's kind of fun.
Right.
And you can get into something a little less expensive, fix that, build it to how you want it, and then eventually when you're ready to upsize, you can sell that or rent it and use that money towards your next home.
Yeah, well, let's talk about a fixer-upper. I know there's a lot of different programs out there. Are you familiar with any of the programs, like the 203K loans or the rehab loans that are out there?
Yeah, a little bit.
And what's excellent about those programs is they're able to get into a home and have money to actually spend on working on it and getting everything ready to go.
Yes.
And they're able to hire hire contractors to go in and, put the right carpet in, do the right paint, put new windows if they want to, or a new roof, it's whatever's necessary.
Yeah, get quality work done instead of all completely DIY. You get a little money so that you can actually get quality fixes done in your home. And that's, of course, not every home needs that much work, but, fixer-uppers can be as simple as like flooring and painting and that kind of thing. It's outdated.
Right.
A little bit broken down.
Yeah, and the other side of it too is those fixer-uppers are usually a little bit cheaper as well, and so they're able to get into it for a discount, which then they're able to put the equity back into it by rehabbing it and making it better, which is a great way to do it. Now, you also mentioned a few other kind of, we'll call them house hacks, because I know that's the tag word that's out there in the world. So let's talk about some different house hack programs that allow people to get into a home. What's another one that you can think of? And let's go into detail over it.
Yeah, well, let's see. I kind of mentioned something people call house hacking is where they buy the house and then they rent out a portion of it, and they use that to help pay their mortgage. Other ones like buying a condos or
buying condos, or and the other thing that people need to be aware of is there's many different ways to get into a house. You can borrow equity from your parents, by getting down payment assistance. That's a way to get into a house. There's also you can also even have your parents co-sign for you, or a relative co-sign for you to be able to get into a house, which makes it easier to get a little bit better home, and then use roommates to be able to help afford it and stay in it and continue to grow that equity.
And the down payment isn't as huge as you think. Like before I got into real estate, I didn't know, and I thought like 10 or 20% was like standard and pretty much what you have to do. But multiple loans you can put as low as 3.5% down. Some loan types you can put 0% down, like VA loans if you qualify for that, or USDA loans, which a lot more homes are part of that than you would think. If you go to their website, you can see a lot of areas that are considered rural are really not as rural as you would think. You still are in a community, but you can qualify for a lower down payment on those, or zero down payment, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many different programs out there. It's a matter of talking to a good lender and exploring what your options are, for sure. Now let's talk about how technology is affecting your generation. From the standpoint of everything's at their fingertips. What are you seeing out there?
Well, yeah, because people are kind of going to the internet first. Before even like talking to a person in real life, we're Googling it, we're looking it up on TikTok, we see it on Instagram scrolling through. So the first impression everyone has is what they're seeing in digital form. So it's important with that, though, to know like whatever you're seeing on your TikTok videos, you need to fact check because it might not be true. But if you're looking up like different programs or different like credit building and that kind of thing, like just how to get yourself in a position that you're ready to buy, TikTok is a big one. I kind of use it like Google myself, because it's easy. You get a video answer to what you're wondering. But yeah, I think everyone is kind of turning to the digital age these days, and that's how they find their realtor. That's how they find sometimes their homes all by themselves, just looking online.
Yeah, definitely. I know it's 52% of home buyers out there find their home online first, which is a big number for sure, but they still have other resources out there. And so how big of an impact is social media on your marketing?
I think it's the biggest, easiest way to reach people. I mean, it's free. You can post videos, reels, like blog style things. You can post all that for free and try to use the right keywords to reach as many people as you can. So I know like I've made a few different videos on different topics. Like I did a little contingency series and inspection series. I should probably do one on like just the steps getting started into home buying, like what you need to do to prepare yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I just have done a few series like that myself. It's easy, and then you can share it and try to reach the people that it's for, and try to like, I don't want to say dumb it down, but like we forget that once we work in real estate, we know more keywords and we know more than we think we do. And so we have to remember that like before I joined real estate, I didn't know a lot of this either. So I want to try to explain it to people as if they've never heard of it either, because we forget that like it's normal verbiage to us, but other people have never heard of some of that stuff.
What kind of feedback have you gotten from that?
Well, Like from
Have you? What is your audience said? Have you gotten any feedback from them? Have they made any comments to you?
I have, yeah. I've had some people tell me like, "Oh, I didn't know that," or they've asked additional questions to me about it. So it's kind of been a conversation starter. Like they didn't know something I was saying, and so I've gotten to go deeper on like a one-on-one with them about the topic. So it's been good.
Yeah. Now, how do you feel like AI is going to affect things? Do you think that's going to be a game changer for the industry?
Yeah, it probably will. I think it already has been. People can get scripts for things and just use AI to completely take over their socials. I think it's still important to be in your own control though, and not let AI completely run your pages, because you want to have that personal touch that like an AI can't bring you.
Yeah.
You want to like be able to share your own personal voice, nothing that an AI script can actually incorporate for you.
Right.
But I think, yeah, with AI, it can do anything. It's kind of scary.
It is amazing. I know there's videos you can create just by typing in the scripts, which is definitely
so. It
different.
definitely makes it easy, but then you want to make sure to rein in a little bit and keep your own personal touch to it and your own personal branding on it.
Absolutely. Now, do you use it a lot, or is that something that you still are resistant to use?
I mean, I do. Especially like if I want to think of a way to word something, I kind of come up with a topic myself, and I might ask like a ChatGPT, for example. I might ask it like, how can I word this, or what can I say about this? So I bring the idea myself, and I kind of use it to decide how is the best way to talk about it, or maybe some talking points on an umbrella topic.
Yeah. No, that's good. I use it for the same resource. It's an amazing resource to have for sure.
It is. I know you don't want to like rely on it, but it makes it pretty easy.
Yeah. Now, how can agents help Gen Z get into the marketplace?
I think the number one thing is knowing where they are starting, knowing where they're at, and like what they need to do to reach their goal. So whether it's like checking your credit score, where are you at, and what do you need to be at to get the loan you want, or knowing like how much money do you need to save for a down payment, what kind of loan are you going to qualify for, how much money do you need to set aside for closing costs. So I think the number one thing is connecting with an agent who can give you a launching pad. They can connect you with a lender that they trust, and it's a good idea to check out multiple lenders, but it's just a good starting point, connecting with an agent and then connecting with a lender, taking a look at where you are now so you have a plan on where you need to be, and then you can set like a 3-year goal. Maybe you want to be in a house in 3 years. What do I need to do to get my credit up? How much savings do I need to have set aside, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, how much debt you need to pay down.
Yeah,
different
debt too.
Credit cards and car payments and all of that.
Yeah, so I think it's a good idea to go talk to a lender,
Yeah.
even if you're not planning on buying right now, just to kind of see where you're at. What do they think about your debt? What do they think about your credit, your savings? Where do you need to be?
Yeah. Now, you've come into the market during some of the slowest times we've experienced in 30 years, which has been difficult for sure. So now I know the market's in transition, and we're starting to see things starting to shake loose a little bit, where inventory is increasing and everything like that. So as time plays out, what's your advice to Gen Z to get into the market now?
Well, starting out, you need to know where you are. Are you ready to buy, or when you're going to be ready to buy? And then, I mean, interest rates, I feel like, are holding a lot of people back.
Yeah.
But that being said, if you're able to afford it with the interest rate, you can refinance later. So if you can afford to get in now, it's worth it. The equity you'll build in the time that you, instead of waiting for them to go down, will be more worth it than waiting to buy.
Especially since once interest rates start to drop, the pressure is going to be even more intense in the marketplace.
Yep. Interest rates drop. Everyone that's been waiting to buy comes out of the woodworks to buy, and that creates more competition on the listings, and prices go up on those, and you're in a bidding war now. So if you can afford to buy now, it's a good time, because you don't need to wait till the interest rates go down and everyone else bids your house price up.
Right. Absolutely. No, that's true. And the other side of it too is even if you're a year from now, it's great to start to have the conversations. That way, like you said, there's lots of phrases that are real estate terms that you just don't know about. You don't know what PMI is and all this kind of stuff. And those are things, when you start to get more comfortable with it, it becomes normal. And when you're out searching for a house, it becomes just part of the routine, which is great. And then you don't have that learning curve when you are ready to pull the trigger.
Yep. And even just knowing like the areas, like what city do you want to live in? What are homes going for in those cities? What is the average price for a 3-bedroom house there? So when you start looking more seriously, like, is this a good deal? Is this what I've been seeing in, the market a little bit better because you've been watching it for a year, even when you weren't ready to buy yet.
Absolutely. And plus, once again, you're going to know where your credit is if you start a year ahead of time, and that way you can make your plans, because obviously credit's the most important thing, especially since I think it's 71% of the people are getting loans, and the ones that aren't are usually the boomers that are out there in the marketplace that you are competing against, and you need to be prepared for. So.
Yeah, that's why it's important to go to a lender, because a good lender is not just going to tell you like, oh, your credit's not high enough, you need to raise it, come back in a year. A good lender is going to tell you what steps you can do to raise your credit, you know, what you need to actually physically do, like what you need to pay down, and all of that in order to get a better credit score, instead of just telling you, okay, we'll see you in a year. Absolutely.
And part of that, it's a team approach to everything. You know, if you have that plan that you put into place, it makes it a lot easier.
That's why I would recommend, like, for Gen Z and everyone, is finding a trusted realtor first, because they've probably worked with lenders that they loved, and they've worked with lenders that they didn't think were as great. And so they'll be able to recommend a few to you, and then you can go interview a few different lenders, and then that's your launching pad, that's your starting point. Now you know what your timeline looks like a little bit better.
Okay.
And then in the meanwhile, your realtor can help you sending you homes that you may be qualified for now.
Well, and it's a dream building activity as well. When you're able to see the homes out there. Oh yeah, because and the thing is, when you're out online looking at these homes, you're truly seeing the homes, and you're going to become an expert in the price point that you're looking for. And plus, the quality of photos that are out there and the virtual tours that are out there are great.
I know. And like a lot of times they post videos too, touring the neighborhood, local amenities, and that sort of thing. And that's really fun. So it's fun to home search. And yeah, you're right, it is dream building.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what is your message that you have for Gen Z out there? What would your underlying message be?
I would say that home buying is a possibility. It may take longer than you wanted it to, but it's still a possibility for you to get in a home. There are many ways: creative financing, zero down payment, house hacking. There's all sorts of ways you can get in a home. And I would just say, if you want to buy a home, it is possible, and you can always get that starter home and work your way up, but it's not out of the cards for you to get into a home.
That's great. That's a good message to have out there, for sure. So now, how would somebody get in touch with you?
Well, for me, I'm here at John L. Scott Mill Creek, and so my email is just my name, Bridget Black, at johnlscott.com. And then I also have my realtor Instagram. It's just bridgetblack.realtor, so you can reach out to me through there, or check out like videos I post through there, or just send me an email to my John L. Scott email.
And what's your phone number?
It is 360-630-3301.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for sitting down with me.
Thank you.
And until next time.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks.
Thanks for tuning into the Snohomish Real Estate Insider podcast. Tune in next week for more market trends, expert insights, and actionable strategies. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode.